Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. In yesterday's Take 5, I was talking about Joseph Pease, the Quaker gentleman, the believer in Jesus Christ, the man who wanted to obey the words of Jesus to such an extent that he refused to swear an oath to take his seat in Parliament because Jesus said, let your yes be yes and your no be no. And we said that Joseph Pease had the law changed so that you can simply affirm that you are telling the truth, something you can still do today, either if you're elected to Parliament or, for example, if you have to swear an oath as a witness in court. You can simply say, either in Britain or Ireland, you can say, I affirm that I am telling the truth, and that's enough. Well, I said at the time, some of you might not agree with him on that. You might think that he was being a bit over the top and being overzealous and scrupulous in how he was applying the words of Jesus. But you know, we're better off being too careful than being too careless. Because sometimes being careless in what seems a very little thing can have devastating consequences. Back in 2005, there was a trader on the stock market representing Mizuho Securities, a Japanese investment bank, and he was trying to sell one solitary share in a new company, a new job recruitment company, and these shares were valued at 610,000 yen. That's just over $5,000. So he was trying to sell one share at a price of 610,000 yen. Unfortunately, he was careless and he got his numbers muddled up. And instead of selling one share at 610,000 yen, he sold 610,000 shares at 1 yen. That's less than 1 cent. Well, it's a simple mistake, isn't it? You know, you get the two sets of numbers muddled up. Unfortunately, once that sale had gone through, there was no way the clock could be turned back on that mistake. And that mistake ended up costing Mizuho Securities $225 million US. That's $250 million US were lost by this man's employer because he got his numbers muddled up and made a careless but understandable mistake. Now, Mizuho Securities is still a big business today. They survived that event. They survived the loss of $250 million. So Mizuho Securities survived. We're not told what happened to the broker, the trader, who made this mistake. I don't know if he lost his job. I don't know what happened to him. History does not record that. But I think we can be pretty sure he didn't win the Employee of the Year award for 2005. What I'm saying is this. I'm saying that even a simple, understandable act of carelessness can actually end up having dreadful consequences. You know, this happens in many different ways. I have a cousin who a couple of years ago was killed on the roads. He was a van driver and he died because somebody else was careless. Somebody had taken cocaine and went on the road having taken cocaine and tried to overtake when there wasn't room to overtake and ran head on into my cousin's vehicle and he was instantly killed. One little act of carelessness had devastating consequences. In Hebrews chapter 2 verses 1 and 3 it tells us we are not to be careless, we are to be careful. It says, therefore we must give the more earnest heed to the things we have heard, lest we drift away. It goes on to say, how shall we escape if we neglect so great a salvation? You know, it's no good taking the words of Jesus and disobeying them, then saying, oh, well, I thought I knew what he meant. We've got to be careful. So we need to study the Word of God carefully. We need to take care to read what Jesus said, to read what the Word of God says. And we need to act upon that and to do so carefully. Now, we all make mistakes. I'm aware of that. But there's no excuse for us to be careless when it comes to the things of God. There's no excuse for us being careless when it comes to our eternal salvation. Let's be careful to do what the Word of God tells us to do and to respond to the gospel in the appropriate way by giving our lives to Jesus Christ. God bless you today. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock, Drogheda.